Hi, I'm Cheryl, and I'm a filmmaker. The problem is I don't know what I want to make a film on. I know it has to be about black women because our stories have never been told. So in this one film that came into the store, Plantation Memories, I saw the most beautiful black mammy. Her name, the Watermelon Woman. I think I've figured out what my project's gonna be on. I'm gonna make a movie about her. I'm gonna find out what her real name is, who she was and is, everything I can find out about her.
While documentaries are meant to subvert cinematic representations or portrayals of truth, meaning that the documentary frame authenticates the images which are meant to be perceived as reality, well, Cheryl Dunay's movie The Watermelon Woman does not solely undermine reality, but instead creates one. In her film, the documentary frame still authenticates the images, but with the purpose of constructing or reconstructing a history of black women and black lesbians particularly.
What are you shooting? Come on, Cheryl, this is the really good stuff. This is like urban poverty, very raw, it's very very new. I just don't believe it.
Dunye makes the audience witness a history of black oppression through the use and recreation of technology, human testimonies, and institutions.
What do you want? What do you want?
The film opens on Dunye and her friend Tamara shooting a Jewish wedding video with their own equipment. In fact, with the advent of video camera, almost everyone can become a filmmaker. Because of the lack of documentation that exists on black lesbian women, Dunye can become a producer of its history. In this scene, the audience doesn't just witness a wedding through the camera lens, but the erasing of black lesbian representation from mainstream movies. In fact, Dunye videographes the wedding with her friend, yet they are unseen by the white male wedding photographer and his assistant. While Tamara poses the family, the photographer sets up his equipment seamlessly, totally ignoring their presence. The scene represents the overwhelming documentation of middle-class heterosexual men in comparison to the near-invisible evidence of black homosexual women in mainstream media.
Don't you even see the video equipment? Why don't you just wait your turn? Okay.
The fact that the photographer not only doesn't see Dunye and Tamara but also doesn't recognize that the video equipment is in use illustrates that a black lesbian is not discernible in front or behind the camera. As Matt Richardson notes, black women in general have a long and vexed history of being objectified on screen and in still photography. Dunye thus documents her resistance to structures of invisibility that ignore and delegitimize her as a filmmaker. The low resolution of her camera makes the viewer perceive the narrative as based upon reality. In fact, it often looks like a home movie because of the shakiness. Other kinds of technology used to make us witness and believe the Watermelon Woman's existence include film stills, scenes from old features, and photographs. Robert Jackson once explained that human witnesses can often be charged with bias, faulty recollection, and even perjury, and this is visible in The Watermelon Woman.
Do you know who the Watermelon Woman is?
Watermelon Woman? Yeah, she's the one who originated what we call Aunt Jemima.
She must have been in early Hollywood cinema.
Is she from Philly? Isn't she the lady that wore the fruit cocktail on her head?
No, that's Rosie Perez, Buka.
She wore the fruit cocktail with the leaves and the, you know.
Is that Rosie?
As Dunye makes clear, we cannot rely on these people for facts because they've never seen the Watermelon Woman, they've never witnessed her. On the other hand, Dunye's mother is an eyewitness because she has interacted with the character before.
I saw her a couple of times at some clubs.
Where?
Oh, Blue Note, Showboat, Peps.
Her testimony helps us understand the emotional impact that the Watermelon Woman had on her and perhaps on society at large.
Oh, they were weirdos.
No.
Yes, the weird people were there.
Kind of sounds like my type of people.
Audiences have been taught to view the documentary elements evidence in The Watermelon Woman as indications of a person's credibility and expertise, which is interesting to see play out in the feature as the person that helps us the most is just a family friend.
But her name was Faye Richards. I got a lot of pictures.
Yeah, she was a looker, all right.
We then meet more reliable characters, but they barely have any help. The one with the most expertise seems to have less knowledge on the subject.
Wait a minute. The actress was lovers with this famous director? Yes. I'm stunned to hear that the director was a lesbian or bisexual.
On top of that, Talia's character highlights the problematic idea of giving voice to the voiceless by positioning herself as the spokesperson of the marginalized population. She assumes that she knows more about black representation than they do, othering black lesbians even more.
This seems to me so utterly wrong. Where the large woman is a symbol of abundance, the watermelon seems to me another image that has been misinterpreted by a lot of black commentary.
Dooney criticizes institutions such as public libraries for not having information on black homosexual females. If witnessing is about sharing information on events or people like the Watermelon Woman, nothing seems to have reached this institution.
Nothing comes up. Check the black section in the reference. Have you tried the film section?
Yes, we have.
Welcome to the Center for Lesbian Information and Technology. Actually, we're very disorganized here, but it's because we're just volunteering.
In the one place Dooney finds archives that constitute real evidence, they are undermined by the owner, emphasizing the colonial epistemology in place in the White Wren institution. Knowledge is sanctioned because less meaning is attributed to Faye Richards' community.
You know how hard it was to find these films?
We're informed at the end that the character is pure fiction. Dooney used video techniques to advocate for a change in black lesbian visibility, and denounced the colonial gaze that the institutions often use conscious or unconsciously. The Watermelon Woman may not exist, but the issues highlighted remain very real.